Hey there. I'm here to show you Coeur d'Alene's top 7 most popular neighborhoods that are walkable and near the water. You just wait. I have so much to show you. I'm Michelle Renee. Thanks for showing up and listening to what I have to say. I like to kind of share the social side of Coeur d'Alene and these walkable neighborhoods. That is one of the key elements. I'm a real estate broker here in the area. I'm with Tomlinson Sotheby's. The website is destinationliving.co. And oh, first, I want to tell you, I like to kind of wear something related to the thing that I'm talking about. So today I wore blue for blue water, and I wore my fishy earrings. Aren't they cute? My fish skeletons. Let's get right to it. So I'm going to share my screen. And I just like to share the area with people. And I've been an agent here for a while, so I have a lot of resources for you. This is one of my most favorite resources. Um, and it's my relocation guide, and I've done a whole, other videos, actually a few of them on the guide itself and all the things in it. But this is one of the most useful things and it's in a magazine form too. You can just go to the website if you want the digital version, which is super helpful. So we're on page, whatever it is that has the map. So page 13. And let me just back up and show you the cover because this shows you the downtown part of Coeur d'Alene. So if even if you're not from the area, maybe you've seen pictures, it would probably be of the downtown area. So this is the resort. You can see there's a marina. Of course, there's, restaurants and lots of things going on in this downtown section. This is Sherman Avenue, which is kind of like our main street. So you've got, lots of little cafes and cute stores, and it's just wonderful. This is Tubbs Hill. That's a very popular hiking trail, and you have like waterfront beaches. You can jump off the rocks, and it's great. You have some day docks over here, also wonderful. This is called McEwen Park, and so you have houses over here. I will show you. That is one of our neighborhoods we're going to be talking about, and this is the chamber. I actually happen to be in the same building as the chamber. And so this is all, of course, walkable to the water. You have like parasailing, and NIC Beach is back to the left over here, where you can rent kayaks and all sorts of things. It's wonderful. Okay. So what I'm going to do to start us off is kind of back up here. I'm going to just show you a Google map so you get a sense of what is Coeur d'Alene and where we are in the world. So here, the red outline is the city of Coeur d'Alene, and then the blue, lake here is Coeur d'Alene Lake. You have other nearby lakes. Hayden Lake is just north of us, and then a much bigger lake, Lake Pend Oreille, and Sandpoint is up further north. And then let me just back out a little more to show you where we are in relation, to the US. So you've got Canada. So we're about 90 miles from the Canadian border. And you've got Seattle and Washington over here and Montana on the other side. Okay. So let me go back in. Oh, and Spokane is right next door, which if you're flying in and out, that's super important. It's only like 40 minutes away. So it's a wonderful little spot, which is why so many people want to move here. So let me just show you. We're back into the lake and the river. I will point out. We're going to be talking about some of the waterfront neighborhoods. Most, I would say, are on the north side, but I do have a little gem to show you that's not in that same area. So let's go back to our map. And you can grab this PDF online by going to the website. You can also get to some of these neighborhoods we're going to talk about. There's different ways. The PDF is one, the magazine, right? If you just go to destinationliving.co and on the main page, click search local listings, that's another way to just do a search from scratch. However, I did do some of the work for you. This is all of Kootenai County, okay? I did some of the work for you. And when you get to the website, if you hover over the Everything Guide online and click on that, that'll take you here. And then if you click on Local Real Estate Communities in the tab, that's where you'll find the search by neighborhoods, okay? So once you're here, you can click on all these same places that I'm about to show you. And there's more. Right now, I'm just talking about the waterfront, the walkable neighborhoods to the water. But these are a lot of the popular neighborhoods in Coeur d'Alene. Okay, so you can see some of them are further down on the lake and whatnot. And so just pointing out, I'm not giving an exhaustive look at all the waterfront neighborhoods on the lake. We're only talking about the popular ones that are like walkable to the water. Okay, so let's get into it. The first one is Sanders Beach. And if you open a new link or open in a new tab, so this is, we were talking about downtown Coeur d'Alene, right? And you saw Tubbs Hill. So this is on the other side of Tubbs Hill. So this gives you an idea. You've got a mix of old and new homes in here. And by old, I mean you'll find homes that are like over 100 years old in here. I would say most have been renovated. This is a very desirable area because you're south of Sherman and it's just kind of off the beaten path. So Sherman is where the parades are and all those restaurants I mentioned, um, and just a lot of activity. But this neighborhood is just known for, these lovely homes. And I'm going to try and give you some aerials. So if you click in, most of these listings will give you, will give you an aerial view. Oh, maybe not this one. Um, Here, let's go to something closer to the water. Oh, here, Dollar. That's a good one. Yeah, so Sanders Beach, Tubbs Hills over here, and there is a marina, and these are privately owned. So this is not a public marina, this is a private, but you can purchase those slips if you'd like. So some people, if you own a home in here, maybe you're not waterfront, but you can walk to your boat slip, which is super nice. Okay, so that gives you a sense of Sanders Beach, and just again pointing out there's a mix of mostly, I would say in Sanders Beach, it's mostly single family homes, but you do have some condos mixed in. But it's just a very desirable area because it's definitely off the beaten path from all the hubbub that happens, over on Sherman Avenue. Um, okay, so there you have that. Now, next we're going to talk about Fort Grounds. So, Fort Grounds, number 2, we're going to open that in a new tab. There's not a lot of listings here, but we'll show you. Actually, let's just stay in there. I think this has some good aerial shots toward the end. There you go. So Fort Grounds is near NIC, North Idaho College, and so it does definitely have a different vibe. As far as the type of homes, you're going to find very similar homes in Fort Grounds to Sanders Beach. So some are old, some are new-ish, some are brand new. You have the volume of homes is less here in this area. So you have more to choose from at Sanders Beach. But one thing I do like to point out, because the college is right here, there's more activity, there's more buzz, there's more hubbub going on. You might have, college kids walking up and down the street or people of any age, really. It is a popular area. It's a nice walkable neighborhood. These are all very flat and walkable. You can see the waters right nearby. These two particular areas, both Sanders and Fort Grounds, very walkable to pretty much everything downtown. So, um, if there's something going on, a festival or whatever. In At NIC, they have art on the green in the summer. That's that's a cool thing. But yeah, with NIC right there, there's just way more activity going on than you would find at Sanders Beach. Sanders Beach will mostly just be people walking their dogs and that sort of thing. Maybe kids skateboarding here and there, but they Sanders Beach has a polar bear plunge in on New Year's, but I mean, I think that's like the only thing I know of that is really like an event that's at Sanders Beach. Okay, so, but yeah, a mix of old and new for sure. Okay, let's go number three. I would say this one's kind of questionable as far as like this is not a waterfront neighborhood, but it's walkable to the water. And let me just show you what I mean by that. Um, there it is, Garden District is the one we're going to talk about now. So you can see, it's not far at all from like this whole city beach area, Tubbs Hill, all the things. But once you get north, I do like to point it out just because once you get north of Sherman, and this is just what they call the Garden District. That actually is a historic area now, and so it is defined by certain streets. But really, a lot of this stuff, like even over here and like over here, this is going to be a much longer walk than, say, if you had found something right and near the corner here, right, of this region. So I would say, you can still definitely walk to downtown because you're still sort of in the heart of downtown, but some of these are much easier to get to than others. But you can see it's the similar type of homes. You have some, older homes, probably been renovated, mixed in with some new construction. You might find some attached homes, but for the most part, it's single family homes and a mix of old and new. Now, number four is Riverstone. And the thing that Riverstone has in common with the one next to it, number five, is Atlas, is that these are going to be newer constructions. So Atlas is going to be almost brand new and brand new, whereas Riverstone, you're going to find some new construction in Riverstone and some, let's call it newer. So when you're comparing things to the 100-year-old homes, some of this stuff in Riverstone was built in the early 2000s, like I think '06, '07, '08 is around when they started, I believe. Um, but you're just going to see a mix of, different things. So I do like to point out, I need to change my little parameter here. I captured just one little sliver of Atlas Waterfront, so that should not be in there in the Riverstone section. But yeah, Riverstone, you have a mix besides the housing of condos, attached homes, twin homes, single family homes, you also have commercial development in there, right? So you've got restaurants, you have some really great restaurants in there, actually. Um, you know, let's see, Terraza is one, Le Peep. You have a Starbucks in there, Vine and Olive. You have, some a wine bar, a really cool bookstore. So you can see here, let's click on this one. Anything on Main Street is going to be the condos, okay? So this is a good shot of it. There's a movie theater. I don't know if I mentioned that. But yeah, so these are the condos, and then you have some single family homes that kind of surround this lagoon. Excuse me. And you also have you can't see the Bellerive. So Bellerive and Riverstone is kind of the same area, different vibes, but um, this is the condo area. So let's see if we can get some other aerials, including those condos. There we go. So yeah, you can see the condos are right on the water. The restaurants are right there. So just, some great options when it comes to Riverstone because you can just walk out your door and be at any one of these things. There's also in that this little lagoon, there's a park, a really nice park over here, and they have summer concerts every week in the park. So, if you want to be more off the beaten path, this is probably not the neighborhood for you. Um, it's wonderful, if you love that stuff. But if you don't love that, then uh, I would say maybe you'll look at Atlas Waterfront. Let's go look at that. You will have some commercial in Atlas, but the next neighborhood over that's also walkable to the water is Mill River, and you have no commercial stuff in there. There's not one coffee house or restaurant or anything in Mill River. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Atlas is our newest development. Okay. So everything in here, 100% of everything in here is going to be maximum 2 or 3 years old. So pretty much it's all new construction. And you have a mix again of, townhomes, single family homes. So now see when I hover, it shows you where it is on the map, right? The stuff that's a few streets back, that's going to be, more reasonably priced than anything that you find up on the front row. But you can see what I'm calling the front row, Atlas Road right here. There's nothing available right like directly in front of the water. And by the way, these are not considered waterfront, they're water view. So this whole neighborhood is like a secondary waterfront neighborhood because you can get to the water, but there's no, individually owned docks where you can walk down to the water like you can in Bellerive, which is in that Riverstone area. So there doesn't happen, that's the condo. There doesn't happen to be anything for sale right now, but there are waterfront homes right here on Bellerive that do have their own private dock. And so, those become available now and then, but just pointing out that the stuff at Atlas, none of it's going to be waterfront. Like uh, it'll all be water view. Okay. And then this stuff up on Topsaw, which is closer, you can see to Celtice, which is a pretty busy street. But these are also new construction. These are twin homes, they call them. So you own one side. It's kind of maybe looks like a duplex, but where, it's two homes that are attached. But you own one side and your neighbor owns the other one. But those are much more reasonably priced than the stuff that you would find up on the front row, which is at the moment probably trading in the around 3 million-ish. So there's that. And Atlas, you've got Doma, coffee, and that's fairly new. And then I think there's more commercial planned for maybe, some restaurants and things. But most of the restaurants are going to be, they're also, it's walkable to get from Atlas to Riverstone. It's right next door and it's easy to get to. Um, but yeah, most of your restaurants are going to be over in the Riverstone neighborhood. Okay. So next is number 6, which is Mill River. So let's look at Mill River. This was started in the early 2000s. And let me point out my little map here, my cutout I've included this Kona Drive also. So that's not officially part of Mill River, but it's kind of tucked in between some of the different sub associations of Mill River. Mill River has beautiful waterfront homes right here on the river, and those docks are individually owned. These are like more the estate homes. This is called the Edge Water at Mill River, and then you have condos and you have other single family homes up in here. Um, but yeah, let me click on. Here's a single family. Um, Come on, click, go. There we go. So the single family homes, a lot of these in this section have what they call a carriage house, which is cool. So you have your main home and then uh, a separate, almost like an apartment above the garage. It's like its own little unit. Now you can't I mean, it's living space, there's no question, but you like can't rent those out separately. Here's a good picture of it. So here's the garage. And so a lot of these in this section have this separate carriage house over the garage. So that's a cool feature um, and that's pretty specific to Mill River. You don't have that in a lot of areas. That's a good shot of the community. So we would be like near the water looking at the neighborhood. So you can see the waterfront there. Now, Mill River, oh, these are new construction also. They're considered condos. They feel like townhomes. This is D.R. Horton. So this is a newer development as well. And then you have some single family gated area right here, and they have their own docks. So that gives you an idea. Yeah, but there's the river. Yeah, it's a beautiful neighborhood. As you can see, it's all very flat, very walkable. But yeah, no commercial stuff going on over there. And then something that's a little unique compared to all the other walkable neighborhoods by the water. This next one, Harbor Island, is on the south side of the river, is how you access it. There's not a lot for sale over here, but I do want to show you because it's a cool community. Um, Let me get to the end here. I think there's some aerial shots that I wanted to show you to give you a sense of the neighborhood. Yeah, so that's the island itself. And it really is an island. So the water, there's a bridge, but other than that, you can get all the way around. Um, and let me show you on Google. So to get over there, you just, here's downtown Coeur d'Alene, right? So you can just cross the bridge over the river, and then you're going to take Riverview, and it takes you down, into Harbor Island, which again really is an island. But yeah, that gives you a sense of the thing I like about this neighborhood is I saw like the community beach. It's very community minded. So some of the here it is. Some of these homes all along the river on the south side, I mean, they're gorgeous and you're not like in the city limits. So you have privacy and it's probably going to feel more, woodsy. Whereas the stuff on the north side of the river is more city feeling, right? Where you have, the density is higher and you have the restaurants and all that. Now on Harbor Island, you're not going to find any restaurants. There's no cafes, none of that. It's just all homes and but it definitely feels like a community. Whereas some of this stuff, these are all individual properties, right? So you might have little pockets of neighborhoods where you have a handful of homes near each other, but for the most part, these are all individual, lots on the river. Um, but this Harbor Island is cool because it has, there's some community vibes here. So you have this little common area. People bring their chairs and there's a fire pit and they hang out. You can see people kayaking here, but it's just really fun. It's a fun uh, you know, kind of beachy, pretty casual. There wasn't a lot of listings, or there was only one listing to show you. So, but we're kind of in the off season right now. So as summer comes up, I bet more listings will become available. But that I think gives you like a good sense of some of the walkable neighborhoods here in Coeur d'Alene. Obviously, I want you to call me if you've got any interest in finding something in the area, or even if you have questions. If you want to grab that relocation guide, feel free to do that. It's all, digital. You can do that online, like I mentioned. But yeah, if you've got any questions at all, you please reach out to me. All right. I hope you enjoyed this and please maybe you can send me some ideas for other topics if you want me to, talk about other parts of the Coeur d'Alene area. All right, thanks so much for watching. Take care.